The city council to order. Roll call, please.
Councilman Boyer,
Here.
Councilman Collier,
Here.
Councilwoman Templeton.
Here.
Councilman Weiner, Councilman Dennis.
Here.
Councilman Vins,
Here.
Councilman Cook,
Here.
Councilman Tennant.
Here. We do have a quorum. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Tonight's bills total $970,948.04. So move. Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Cook.
Yep.
Councilman Tennant,
Yes.
Councilman Vins,
Yes.
Councilman Dennis,
Yes.
Councilman Boyer,
Yes.
Councilman Collier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton.
Yes.
Motion passes. The consent agenda has passed. Remarks of visitors.
Shelley Sylvie.
Hi, you'll have to forgive me. I don't hear very well. So,
Okay, just let us know and we'll try to accommodate you.
okay. I'm Shelley Sylvie. I own a home at 730 Warren Street here in Festus. I have owned that home for the last 2 years. I wanted to come by today and basically talk about code, city code. And I was issued a reservation of rights letter by my insurance company stating that they wanted or needed the city of Festus to write them a demand letter to move forward with coverage of the plumbing in my home. So basically what's happened back on November 1st of 2022, I had a tub overflow in my home and it caused 796 gallons of water to run through my home through the night. At that point, my insurance company was called and we had Paul Davis Mitigation come out and they put in several moisture fans in. At that point, things just kind of came to a halt. I contacted the insurance company to find out what was happening. They did have an inspector come out. And at that point, he had stated that my home only had $14,000 worth of damage to it. Now, at this point, my kitchen ceiling was falling in. So we knew that that was not the correct amount of money that needed to be for this home to be livable again. So basically, for all these months, I have fought my insurance company for everything. I have fought them for the HVAC system that was ruined. I fought them for all the electricity that was ruined. And now I'm fighting with them for my plumbing that also was ruined. In this letter that I received from them, it says in here that the upstairs bathroom tub had clogged and was accidentally left running. At that point, I did not tell them that the bathroom tub had clogged. I told them that the only thing I can think of was that it clogged, that I was not sure what happened. So after we finally got some demo work done after the 3-month range, we noticed or was able to tell at that point that there was a, a valve or something that was in there that was 108 years old that should not have been where it was. And the water that was left running could not drain through the bathtub. So basically that needed to be brought up to code. When mitigation came in, they cut out my bathtub. They cut out some pieces of plumbing, and they also damaged some of my plumbing in the process of doing that demo. So they damaged a main drain pipe in my home. They actually showed it to me, took pictures of it, and that was it. I asked them if they were going to fix it. I couldn't get any contact from them after that. Basically, When my plumber came out and inspected it, the plumbing that was there was not up to code anyway. So they proceeded to tell that to my insurance company that that was not up to code. At this point, they did not want to pay for it, tried really hard to get out of it. So they did issue me this letter. And at that point, they said that they wanted to, an inspector, they wanted the city inspectors to come out and inspect the home. Well, we had not even pulled a permit. No work at all has been done on this home at all. It's been 9 months. Nothing has started because we couldn't get a full scope of what needed to be done. And they had not given me full payment. They have given me some payment, but they have not given me full payment for my contractor to even complete the work. So the plumbing issues are the very last thing that we're fighting for. At one point, they stated, my desk adjuster at my insurance company stated that he wanted to speak with Mark Harris, and he did so. At that time, I thought they were going to just discuss that issues needed to be brought up to code. I did receive an email from my desk adjuster stating that basically at that time, Mr. Harris proceeded to tell him that my plumber wants to do more work than is necessary. There was not been any inspection done at this point in my home. No inspector had been in my home at this point for them to say that. So that is what prompted this reservations of rights letter for the insurance to request that the city of Festus actually come in, go ahead and inspect, even though no work has been done on it. That's why my plumber had to go ahead and pull a permit without any work being started. We did have an inspector come out. One of the issues that was stated was that I guess when the codes or when the inspectors come out, some of the wording, I work with insurance companies in the healthcare field, so I know you have to be really careful of how you word things, but I guess layman terms, I'm not sure, but I know that a lot of the wording that was said was that, you know, if the walls are down, that means that things have to be brought up to code. That's what I was told. That's kind of the same terms that I used. My insurance company proceeded to contact the city inspectors for code. It doesn't state anything in the code about the walls being down, having to bring anything up to code, which I understand. But if that's the way it words, then they shouldn't word that. That shouldn't be wording put out to the contractors that way. So basically what we're seeing is that we did have finally pull the code. We did have an inspector come out, I believe on June 29th. The inspector met my plumber, Butch Ross. He did the inspection. We do have it on recording that he came in and stated right away that, well, all these walls are down, so all this plumbing has to be brought up to code. That's exactly what they had already sent back to my insurance company saying that didn't need to happen. But now all of a sudden they're being told that, yep, all the walls are down, so all this has to be brought up to code. If this is not covered, if I cannot get a demand letter from the city of Festus stating that these things need to be brought up to code, it's going to cost me over $17,000, which I do not have. I've been living in a hotel for 9 months with my 17-year-old son, and I cannot take it anymore. I desperately need some help. Mark Harris has already refused to give me that demand letter. This needs to be moved forward. When asked by my contractor, my plumber, why not, the quote was, I don't write letters. The next quote was, I don't get involved with insurance claims. Now, I'm not asking the city of Festus to get involved with my insurance claim because that has already happened. My insurance has already stated they will cover this as long as I get that demand letter saying that these items need to be brought up to code. So somewhere in there, there's a lack of communication, and I just need help getting this taken care of. This is only going to increase the property value in my home right now as it sits, which is completely gutted, is worth about $150,000. Once it's finally done and everything is new again, it's going to be worth about $280,000, which is on Warren Street, which is only going to improve the neighborhood. I really, really need this help. I really need this demand letter. And I need you all to come together to help me get that. My question to you is, how can we keep this from happening in the future between insurances and the code inspectors? How can we get this he said, she said, or he said from happening again? And what can we do about it? Let me ask you this. What if this were your home? What if this were your family's home? What if you were living in a hotel room with a 17-year-old son for 9 months and your home is destroyed? It is gutted. It is completely gutted, and I need help getting it fixed.
All righty, ma'am. Thank you very much for your comments. We will take them under advisement and see what can happen from there. Thank you very much.
Pardon? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you very well.
Thank you very much for your comments, and we will take them under advisement.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Bids.
We have none, sir.
Moving right along, ordinances and resolutions. We have bill number 4730 on the agenda. Would the clerk please read the bill for the first time?
Bill number 4730, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, approving the personnel policy of the City of Festus, Missouri, incorporating attached Exhibit A as part of this ordinance and establishing an effective date.
Bill number 4730 is now open for discussion. Could I have a staff report, please?
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Very proud this evening to be able to present an updated personnel policy manual. This is the culmination of better than 14 months worth of work by Matt Unrein, a committee that was assembled from all the departments, most of the departments across the city. Also some excellent work by Brian Malone and his staff at Lashley Bear in providing a full review of this. And it's something I think we can all be very proud of. Matt really took the ball and ran with this. The people that were on the committee took it very seriously. And I think at the end of the day, it delivered on what I expressed at the very outset, which is that we want to try to find a way to care for our employees in a reasonable but fair way, and in a better way. So what you see here is a number of benefits that have been increased, whether it's longevity of service, which has now been lowered to 5 years of service, for sick leave at retirement and separation, health and wellness benefits, funeral leave, updates to our expense and travel policy, expanded military leave, telecommuting policy and procedures. And on top of all that, I really do want to make sure that we make it very clear that the lion's share of Brian's work, in addition to checking Greg's horrible spelling, was a number of the changes that have happened at the state and federal level that we needed to make sure that we were fully compliant with, whether it had to do with recreational marijuana, whether it had to do with FMLA leave. This policy is up to date and puts us in a very good position to be able to move forward. So with that said, happy to answer any questions at this time.
Hey, Greg, where do you think this puts us with other cities in the area? So I know like a lot of cities
Better.
have just completed the pay scale. So
It obviously pay wasn't part of this, but the wellness, the longevity, that sick leave conversion at retirement, the fact that you're able to sell back up to 65 accrued days at $80 a pop, that's on par. I know a lot of school districts have done that. That is something that's almost unprecedented among municipalities. Us being able to do that for folks who have been with us for an extended period of time, they have to be here at least 10 years to be able to tap into that benefit. But this puts us more than competitive, in my opinion.
And I apologize, I may have missed this part. So the employees who have max time, are they able to sell that on a yearly basis?
Yeah. So the part of that wellness benefit addresses, you know, if you're capped out at 130, you're going to get 6 days. Those are 6 days that you normally would not be able to bank, but you'll be able to take those 6 days and basically cash them in. If you're eligible for the wellness benefit in January, 6 days you normally wouldn't receive have a cash value to you up to $600.
Is there any other discussion? Is there any
So-
councilman that would like? Kevin,
Uh,
did
You
you
had a
want?
question. So the virtual, I guess that's the work at home. You would assign that, or you would allow that, and then there's a lot of it was a pretty hefty document. I tried to read it thoroughly, but where it says the virtual.
Yeah, Kevin, really, that was kind of an answer to what we saw coming out of COVID. There are some jobs within the vast description of jobs that the city has where some work can be done virtually, can be done working from home or on the road. And we wanted to make sure that we had a provision in there for it moving forward. So there wouldn't be any question about how does it work? When does it work? We wanted to make sure that we had something in there to address, obviously, you know, this, this meeting we're having right now obviously happens in a virtual space. So, excuse me, being able to accommodate that within our work policies as well, I think was important, especially in light of the accommodations that we did make that were new and different in 2020.
Mm-hmm. So it would have to go through you. Who would be allowed to do
Yes,
that
sir.
or that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think it's a real good document. It was just a lot to digest in 4 days, but yeah, I certainly appreciate the work that went into it. So that's all, sir.
All right, thank you. Is there any other discussion?
Greg, are we gonna have a hard copy on this?
Everybody's going to get a hard copy of this. You may have one as well. Absolutely.
Is there any other discussion? Is there any councilman that would like this carried over to the next meeting? Hearing none, do I have a motion to suspend the rules and read Bill 4730 for the second time in title only? Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, would you please read Bill 4730 for the second time?
Bill number 4730, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, approving the personnel policy of the City of Festus, Missouri, incorporating attached Exhibit A as part of this ordinance and establishing an effective date. Councilman Tenon. Councilman Cook.
Yes.
Councilman Dennis.
Yes.
Councilman Venz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton.
Yes.
Councilman Boyer.
Yes.
Councilman Collier.
Yes.
Bill 4730 has passed. And I would like to congratulate all those employees and personnel that were involved in the making of this and the discussion of this document. I think you did a great job, and it's a step forward for this city. Thank you. Resolution number 4730.5, Would the clerk please read the resolution?
Resolution number 4730.5, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an amendment of the letter of intent with the Jefferson County Public Sewer District, the City of Festus, the City of Crystal City, to sell the wastewater treatment plant to the Jefferson County Public Sewer District.
Resolution number 4730.5 is now open for discussion. Could I have a staff report?
Not sure which mayor point that.
What this resolution will do is address an issue that I think we intended to address when we presented this letter of intent at the last council meeting. The draft that was approved had the old date for exclusivity of negotiations listed July 31st, which is obviously coming up very quickly. And this extends it to December 31st so that it is commensurate with the amount of time that we're all going to be doing due diligence on this agreement. So this is really just a cleanup.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 4730.5?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilman Boyer,
Yes.
Councilman Collier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton. Yes. Councilman Benz,
Yes.
Councilman Dennis,
Yes.
Councilman Cook,
Yes.
Councilman Tennant.
Yes.
Resolution 4730.5 has passed. And we also have Bill 4731 on the agenda. Would the clerk please read Bill 4731 for the first time?
Bill number 4731, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, authorizing the issuance of a special tax bill under section 110 of the 1998 Property Maintenance Code adopted by the City of Festus, Missouri, certifying said special tax bill to the supposed to be Recorder of Deeds, typo for me, Recorder of Deeds of the County of Jefferson as a lien against said property and establishing an effective date.
Bill 4731 is now open for discussion. Could I have a staff report, please?
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. I think most of you are familiar with 410 South Fourth. The property is a derelict property. It is currently in foreclosure proceedings with Wells Fargo Bank. During that legal proceeding, the house was being used for illegal activity. And we needed to address it as an immediate public safety threat. So Mark did contact a company to come in and board up and secure the property. And then, of course, there is some utility balance that is left owed on the property as well. So in order to add this to the list of special tax bills that we attach to property, especially in light of the fact that the bank will be reacquiring the property, we wanted to get this attached to it as a special tax bill and lien with this ordinance.
Is there any discussion? Is there any councilman that would like this bill forwarded to the next meeting? Hearing none, do I have a motion to suspend the rules and read Bill 4731 for a second time in title only?
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, would you please read Bill 4731 for the second time?
Bill number 4731, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Festus, Missouri, authorizing the issuance of a special tax bill under section 110 of the 1998 Property Maintenance Code adopted by the City of Festus, Missouri, certifying said special tax bill to the Recorder of Deeds of the County of Jefferson as a lien against said property and establishing an effective date. Councilman Boyer,
Yes.
Councilman Collier,
Yes.
Councilwoman Templeton,
Yes.
Councilman Tenon,
Yes.
Councilman Cook, Councilman Vins,
Yes.
Councilman Demis.
Yes.
Bill 4731 has passed. New business.
On the agenda tonight, sir, are the annual boards and commission appointments. All of these, with the exception of 3, are reappointments. 1, 2 are to fill empty positions on the library board, Steve Stoll and Chris Nelson. And the other is the vacant position on the park board. We did receive from the public a request to be appointed to the park board from Gina Otto, who lives on Deer Crossing Drive in Festus. And she is included in your packet for consideration as well.
And I would like to appoint and reappoint all those listed on the sheet that you have, and the vacancy will be filled by Gina Otto. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. Appointments have been made. Old business.
We have none, sir.
Councilman Boyer.
Like to say, it's nice to see that the Champions building that's been empty over there is going to be a restaurant. I like to see any building that's been vacated, filled in again with some kind of a business. And then Culver's, I know it's in Crystal City, but I think anything that comes into Crystal, I think it helps Festus and vice versa. I think any building that comes into Festus helps Crystal. But it seems to be a nice restaurant. We went there and checked it out, and that's about all I have, sir.
All right, thank you. Councilman Dennis.
Like to say that I went to the concert in the park last night and it was outstanding. Job well done, Barb and all who participated. We were out last night and at Main and Mill, the park, there was a man laying in the grass, and we pulled over and they called police, and you could tell by the sigh in the dispatcher's voice that there was a homeless individual that they've been dealing with. But I just want to report the empathy shown by the officer was outstanding. The empathy that he showed to the man who was apparently down and out and having a rough time. I believe it was Adam Maxwell, who was a police officer. We also donated the man some food, and he went about his way. But I know it's a really trying situation. I've seen the park over off of South Mill. There's shopping carts that I know go for the tune of about $500. And there's a cart setting down there. But I know that everything is being done that can for our homeless individuals. But I was very impressed with the patience shown to this human being that was apparently having a rough time. I'd also like to say Mrs. Sylvie, the concerns he addressed, is that something that we need to fix in our code? Because I would think if you tore out a wall, that you would have to bring it up to modern specifications on something like that. I don't know where it's at in our system as far as working on it, but I sure would like to be kept abreast of that. And then one other thing is we'd requested to review the ATV ordinance that so many citizens have asked questions about, and we haven't heard anything back. So, but that's all I have, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. Councilman Collier. I'm sorry, Councilman Cook.
Dave, we beat Crystal in that football game and we have no desire to play it again. So a couple of questions actually. I hope the longevity pay helps. I really appreciate the work on the employee handbook. I called Friday at City Hall and got a hold of Stephanie, had a road question. I didn't know if it's in the city limit or not. Josh, who's in Parks, answered it. Shane answered it, knew in 5 minutes. And you add that in with Jimmy Tyndall, and I don't know, sometimes you can't put a value on experience, knowledge in the city, and dedication. So I really hope this handbook helps. Hope it shows the employees we do care and we're trying our best. So I just want to give out a few shout outs to our long-term employees on that. Question for Greg or Mark. Do we have a property maintenance code in our code right now?
Yeah.
Or what year are we using?
2009.
So should we look into maybe?
Yeah. Actually, I'm glad you brought it up. It's a conversation Mark and I had today. Most of the organizations around us, with the exception, I believe, of Arnold, are on 2018. 15 and 18. So Mark would like to begin the process. It has to go through P&Z and ultimately come to the council where the property maintenance code, the single family residential, that would be brought up to the 2021 standard. They update every 3 years. So that would bring us to the most current and would probably set us up for another good 10 years from a code compliance, code current standpoint. The changes from 3-year cycle to 3-year cycle are not dramatic. There are some bits and pieces that do change. I know fire suppression was something that was big here a few years ago, whether it was in a residential or commercial setting. But for the most part, the code essentially stays the same, but it becomes important just from a consistency standpoint as communities around us, as the county begins to move towards those newer editions of the ICC.
And then Brian Malone, be a question for you, sir. A reservation of rights demand. Not real familiar with that, but is that basically a legal letter stating that they're notifying the insured that there's a possible denial of the claim, but it's not a denial while it's still being investigated? I mean, I'm trying to wrap my hands around this on, am I wrong saying the city might be we're getting involved in something that's a dispute between the insured and the insurance company? Can you help me out?
I don't typically think the city would be involved in something like that. And I don't know if a reservation of rights is what I usually understand a reservation of rights to be. If there's I think, as the mayor indicated, we'll be happy to review what the woman who presented earlier indicated that she was going to submit to the city, and we can see what role the city has to play, if any, in that. And I think it's just going to be a matter of interpreting our codes and letting her know what's required.
Okay, so that would be reviewed by legal because it's way above my head.
Right. Yeah, that's different than I think what a reservation of rights would be between the city and its insured or something like that if the city were to make a claim.
Okay. And then last but not least, Mr. Mayor, Doug, you were telling me, or excuse me, I'm so sorry. Chief, you were telling me about Texas Roadhouse and Shop with a Cop. You want to speak up real quick, please?
I was just speaking with him earlier. Texas Roadhouse is doing a dine to donate for Shop with a Cop tomorrow night. If anybody that goes out, they'll donate 10% of their daily take from the register to the Shop with a Cop program.
Thank you, Chief. I apologize. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All righty. Councilman Collier.
Yeah, I agree with a lot that Mike just said about the situations we got going. Also, have we had any feedback from the no parking on the one side of the street on Bueller?
I believe we did have one dissatisfied resident, but that's all I've heard of.
Just one? Okay. And the road work on 6167, is that a turn lane into the new development?
There was an agreement some time ago when Judy Wagner was still with MoDOT to establish a right turn for southbound traffic and a left turn in for northbound traffic. They're off of 6167 into her development. So that's the work that's been going on and blocking that one lane.
Any word on what could be going in
No.
there? No.
No.
Okay. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman Templeton.
Just to reiterate the same concerns about the letter that was discussed by Sylvie. Like to know kind of where we stand and what what else is there possible that we can do? Other than that, if you come out for dinner, you can also buy T-shirts at the Shop with a Cop event. There'll be other paraphernalia there as well. It's a great cause. So thanks for speaking about it. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman Vans.
Chief Wendell and Chief Brumbaugh on Rankin. John Eisenbice is requesting parking on one side because he said right now trying to get a fire truck down the dead end. Now we're talking the dead end part of it, not the part probably down by Cliff. But he said people parking on both sides, it's very tight. And so he wanted your recommendation and to come back and see what you guys thought there at the end.
Councilman, I think probably the best way to approach that is the way we approached with Mueller,
Right,
which is that we would follow our traffic calming policy.
right.
That would be, of course, reviewed by the two chiefs, but the residents that are concerned about parking on that one side, if it's John, that he would just need to contact Matt at Public Works and we get the ball rolling on that.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll have him do that. And plus their recommendation, like you said, to see, he said it's just awful tight. And when there's two vehicles, you guys have any kind of emergency, you'd have a tough time getting there. Other than that, that's all I have, sir.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Tenen.
Just want to thank everybody that worked on the handbook. I think that's a good thing it got accomplished there. Not sure what Kevin said about the ATV. I thought we were going to talk about that a little bit, and I don't know if it ever happened or not.
Well, obviously, there's been a lot of things that have happened, certainly in the last 60 days. And some of them affecting members of our community and members of our park board. And it was my belief at the time, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, that we should perhaps hold off on any discussion of golf carts and ATVs until it's not such a delicate time. But if council would like to pursue a special session to discuss that, I'd be happy to get it on the calendar.
I'd like to get it on there. Okay. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, sir. Are there any other councilmen that want to have a work session on this particular issue?
You need to discuss it?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I'd like to discuss about it. Yes.
Okay. It'd have to be in August.
Or later this week.
Or later this week.
I mean, is there a rush to
No, I like I said, that was a decision I made. Was I know we had talked about it probably 2 months ago. And then what has happened recently, I felt it was best that maybe we wait and let things calm down a little bit. It's a difficult time for a family here in town. And I didn't want you guys to be necessarily discussing something that may be a difficult topic at that time. So happy to put it on the calendar. I'll shoot some dates out this Friday for an opportunity to discuss in August, and we'll do it at that time.
With that said, I certainly understand now. It would have been nice to be communicated that didn't put two and two together with just something on old business. So, I mean, whatever the appropriate time would be, that's fine with me, being one that said yes. So, like I said, you guys do this every day, and it's kind of hard to keep track of all of it and everything else that goes on. So, certainly apologize. I don't want to rush or do anything that's going to cause anybody any difficulties.
But I think you bring up a good point. Yeah, I think you bring up a good point, Kevin. It's something that's been discussed. So we could certainly put it on an old business on the agenda. If it's a light agenda, it gives you plenty of time to discuss maybe even at the next meeting.
Right, and nobody understands this more than I, having a son that was involved in an ATV accident. I just want to be able to give the people an answer and say, we've done our due diligence and, you know, we're, that's the answer. So didn't mean to request anything that would be harmful to anyone. So, my apologies.
Oh, that's fine, Councilman. We'll just do that. We'll put it on the old business for the next meeting and we can discuss it then. Once again, I want to say thank you to all the employees that took part in making the personnel manual a workable piece of administration. We had a good concert last night, Barb. Thank you. And if there's nothing else, I will entertain.
Can I jump in for just a second, sir?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, you
No,
can.
no, I'm sorry.
Gun came out of the holster.
Uh,
Come on.
My apologies. My apologies. I did want to relate a bit of tech information. As you know, we're in the process of moving towards the new festusmo.gov domain, which would replace cityoffestus.org. With that, and it will affect this body more than anyone else within the organization, the way emails work. And I think you've all begun to experience some of the difficulty that comes with that when trying to download your packets. Moving forward, and perhaps just a good habit to get into, is to view and download your council information on the city issued tablet. Email forwarding is going to go away. Now, that said, other mobile devices can be set up to receive Outlook email with the proper authorization that will be able to work within the festusmo.gov domain. So if you do use an alternate device like an iPad or even your smartphone, we're going to need to make accommodations for you to be able to download Outlook onto your device and to be able to use that to access your emails. Once we finally make the transition to festusmo.gov, the forwarding is where we get into a compliance issue from a security standpoint, as far as how these domains work. A .gov domain is very secure. It's probably one of the most secure that an organization can have, but it does limit what you can do with the data that's moved around inside of it. So just kind of a heads up that if you're not using Outlook now, you probably need to get into the habit of doing it, because the forwards to your email addresses, and I think all council and the mayor have those forwards in place. Those will be going away in time once we roll out the new festusmo.gov. So just kind of fair warning.
So what time frame are we looking at? Like months or a year or?
Before the end of the year.
So when should we get with you, Greg? Because I did turn my city one back because I thought it could be better used there. And I used my iPad. So anytime, or you're going to let us know when?
That's fine. And what we can do, if you're using a personal device, that's fine. It's just, we'll need two things. You'll need Outlook, and then you'll need the third-party authorization app that we use. It's called Authy, that gives you a code. Yeah. That's part of that two-factor authentication that we set up. You'll need that app as well, but we can get you squared away.
Okay. Outlook, I can go ahead and do my own, right? That's just to download an app.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, sir.
Sorry for the interruption.
That's okay. Thank you, sir. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I need a second. Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carries. This